Hey, TubeUbers. TJ Pyramid here. Got my morning glass of vodka. No, it's water. Or is it? No, it's vodka. No, it's not. It's water. Or is it? No, it's water. It's water. So, that's great. It went all dark on me. Today's video is just about some horror-related films that I really enjoy, but I think they need a little bit more love. Uh, so I guess you would call that an underrated horror film? I don't know. So I got 6 titles here, and I just think these are really well done, fun, some of them funny, horror films that when I first saw, they just kind of stuck with me. There was just things I remembered about them, whether it was the film itself, or maybe the film combined with some special features that were really well done. But I just think these are all films that have something to add to your collection. So let's go ahead and begin with Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer. Okay, this is directed by John Knotts, screenplay by John Knotts and John Ainsley. Stars, as you can see, Robert Englund and this guy right here, Trevor Matthews, who I think in real life his parents are like billionaires or something like that. I'm not sure. Google it. But what's fun about this is all the effects in this are practical, and there are some really cool effects in this movie here. You got Trevor Matthews, who plays Jack Brooks, and he's just basically like a handyman type guy, slash plumber, who really has a problem with rage. And he goes absolutely ballistic in this film when he's fighting these beasties. But some really funny stuff in this right here. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund plays a professor in this, and there's tentacled monsters straight out of the depths of hell with just fantastic makeup effects. But yeah, this is definitely a cool throwback to an 80s type creature feature. You can see some of the other monsters here, but just a super fun little film filled with some cool beasties and just a really fun overall plot. So if you've never seen this, check it out, and if you've seen it, watch it again and enjoy it. Next up here, this is a double feature. When you buy this, you get both movies. But that's Plague a Zombie, Mutant Zone, and the other film on here, of course, is Plague a Zombie. Mutant Zone is the sequel. Now, this here is a Spanish film by some people that, let me see if I can pronounce their names. Berta Munez, Pablo Perez, Hernan Saez. So I think those are the main three. 3 friends who just really liked the Evil Dead, Dead Alive type films and wanted to do something with it. So they made Plague a Zombie on just one of the big old-fashioned camcorders that used the old VHS tapes. So they made that. They had to edit it between 2 different VCRs. They did all their own splatter effects, absolutely no budget whatsoever, and had fun with it. And then they went on to get a little bit more money and a better camera, and they made a Mutant Zone, which is just another throwback to the 80s splatterfest, just like I mentioned, like the Evil Dead, like the Dead Alive, loaded with blood, guts, intestines being pulled out, all kinds of stuff. So if you're into anything like that, you definitely want to check out Plague a Zombie Mutant Zone, put out by Fangoria International on Media Blasters. So yeah, the plot of this film here is there's an alien virus being tested by the FBI, and it infects a small town, and it basically turns everybody into killer mutant zombies. You have the 3 main people in this. You have John West, who is a pro wrestler, Bill Johnson, who's a medical student, and Max Giggs, a computer nerd. And those are the three people that team up and go out to fight these evil, nasty, bloodthirsty, throat-ripping zombies. You get really good special features on this. You get a really nice making of, which is where I learned of how they had to edit it between two VCRs and the big old camcorder. But yeah, they put their heart and soul into both of these films. It shows. They're really well done. And you definitely need to check out Plague of Zombie Mutant Zone. It's fun, it's funny, it's gory, it's bloody, it's nasty, it's chunky, it's spewy, it's splattery. You need to check it out. Next up here, a director that really should have went further, and I think if this movie wouldn't have been abused by the studio, I think he may be bigger than he is now, but that's Mr. Lucky McKee, who, of course, you may know from the movie May. But this is The Woods with, right there. They mentioned Bruce Campbell, but he has a really small part in here. Patricia Clarkson, who's always great, and Agnes Bruckner, right here, who I think should really be a bigger star than she is, because she's really good in the stuff I've seen her in. Even the crap that she's been in, she was like the shining point of that movie. But yeah, this here takes place at Fallburn Academy. It's an all-girls boarding school, and Agnes Bruckner plays Heather Fasulo. And there's some supernatural stuff in this, some witchy women type things, but the setting in this has a really like a really 70s vibe to me, like just the look and the feel and the tone of the film, like a 70s supernatural type occult film. But when this was supposed to come out, the theater didn't really know what to do with it, so they shelved it for a few years, like the studios love to do with films they're just not sure about. And unfortunately, that hurt Mr. Lucky McKee, because I think if this would have been released theatrically, I think it would have boosted him up, and he would have got more offers to do stuff that maybe he wanted to do. But I absolutely love Lucky McKee's stuff, and The Woods is definitely one you should check out. It's definitely worth seeing, especially, like I said, if you're into the old 70s vibe of the occult and supernatural, you really need to check this out. Next up here, a director that I enjoy, Brad Anderson, The Call, The Machinist, Session 9. He does really good stuff, but I think this is maybe my favorite one of his that he's done, and really it surprised me when I watched this, because the cast, I really don't like anybody in this cast. I'm not a fan of really much of their work, and that's Vanishing on 7th Street with Hayden Christensen, Tandy Newton, John Leguizamo. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of any of those three people that I mentioned. But in this, just brilliant to me. So basically, shadows, darkness is consuming the world. Light is becoming a precious commodity, whether it's the flicker of a candle flame or a flashlight on its last leg, where you have to bang it and shake it to get the light to come on, or your generators that are pumping out your juice, and their juice, aka gasoline, whatever it may be, is running low, and the lights start to flicker, and you see these shadows and the darkness creeping over furniture and around corners, coming closer and closer towards you, wanting to engulf you in its pitch blackness. And it basically kind of just turns you to dust. It just eats you. I love that premise. As the daylight disappears, where are you going to go for your light? I absolutely love the premise of this film. I love the look of this film. I like the darkness in this film. It's just really well done to me, and I think this needs to be seen by more people. This is a Magnolia releasing. Some pretty good special features on here. You get an alternate ending. You get a good commentary with Brad Anderson, but I think he does really good stuff. But this is definitely my favorite of his films, and I think you need to see it. If you're afraid of the dark, you definitely need to see this. Next up here we have Darkness right here. Um, and if you have only seen like the PG-13 version of this film, you need to know that that's basically like a theatrical cut. That's the cut the studio wanted to release. So you need to make sure you get the unrated version because that is the version that the director, um, who, let's see if I can pronounce his name, Jean Wame Balaguero, something like that. But yeah, this was produced by Brian Usna, who, if you're a horror fan, you should know that name. And this has Anna Paquin, the always great Lena Olin, uh, and this is obviously the unrated extended version. So they move into a new home that has an ancient secret. Not long after Regina, played by Anna Paquin, begins living in her family's remote country estate, she learns there's something horribly disturbing about the old place. Even as her parents dismiss her concerns, strange things begin to happen whenever the lights go out. Soon, Regina realizes that a series of escalating supernatural events will unleash the full evil that resides in their house. And once it's released, you'll experience it like never before. So yeah, this is the version the director wanted in the theaters. The studio wouldn't allow the unrated or the R-rated, whatever version it may be, into theaters, so they released a really weak cut of a PG-13 film. Uh, but this movie here, what makes this is the ending. It's dark. It's bleak. It's not your typical Hollywood film. It's not a happy everybody lives type ending. It's a really dark, depressing, scary ending to this film, which really, when it's done and you turn it off, you're like, yeah, that's how I like to see a film end once in a while, where everything's not kosher, where everything's not cool. Uh, so you need to check out Darkness, unrated version. And last up, one of my favorite films of the year when it came out, produced and directed by Scott Glosserman, and I believe he has a Kickstarter or a Facebook or something going on trying to get a part 2 of this made, but that is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This was released by Anchor Bay, and this was written by David J. Stevie and Scott Glosserman. Um, Stars Nathan Bassell, Angela Goethals, the always adorable, rest in peace, little Zelda Rubinstein, and once again, Robert Englund in this here. He plays like a kind of like a Donald Pleasance, Loomis type detective hunter type guy. So yeah, you have a Vernon, who's a good-natured killing machine, who invites a documentary film crew to follow him as he reminisces with his murder mentor, um, deconstructs Freudian symbolism, and meticulously plots his upcoming slaughter spree. But when the actual carnage begins, where do you draw the line between voyeuristic thrills, mythic evil, and good old-fashioned slasher movie mayhem? So what I like about this film is the documentary crew that's walking around with Leslie Vernon, as he's basically going from place to place, showing, okay, this is what's going to happen here, and I'm going to kill this person here because they're going to do this here. So a really smart, fun horror film. Within like the first half hour, you're kind of like wondering, you're like, what exactly is going on here with this whole plot? And then it kicks in, and you're like, oh. Yeah, how smart. So I just absolutely love this film. I just think it is brilliantly, brilliantly done. I really hope that Scott Glosserman can get something going for a part 2 on this. I'd love to see the Leslie Vernon character come back. But you got some really fun effects in this. Robert Englund is great. Voice coming on here. Let's see. I don't know. Demon voice. Let's see. We're at almost 15 minutes here. Ooh, that's a long one for me. So,
Yeah, really, really cool, fun film. If you've passed it by, go back and pick it up. If you've seen, watch it again and really understand it because it's really that damn good. So there we go.
those are the 6 films that I picked that I think are underrated, that I think you need to watch again or you need to see for a first time, that you need to have in your collection. Um, I really, really enjoy them, and I cannot recommend any of them enough. They're absolutely just brilliant. I highly recommend every single film I showed, and really none of them should be too expensive. So go out and snap them up. So thanks for watching. Comment down below, subscribe, spread the word, and cheers.